Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I'm going to get into a video on researching crypto coins. Now this is going to be an oversimplified video in many aspects, so if you feel like I left something out, then feel free to leave that down below, or if you got any questions, also leave that down below. I'll try to help you out as quickly as possible. But with that being said, I'm not a financial advisor nor an investment advisor, but this is an educational and entertainment video, and this is just how I go about things. But also I got a giveaway for this month, and at the end of the month I'll be giving away 100 free crypto coins to one lucky person. So to enter that, simply leave a like, subscribe, share, and also leave a comment down below, and I'll see you then. And also note that this is across multiple platforms: YouTube, library, and also Theta TV. So with that one in mind, let's jump on in. So how do you know if a crypto coin is worthwhile or not? There's no real magic way of doing it, but let me tell you something right now. If it's on a major exchange, Coinbase, Binance, or a few others, then I wouldn't worry about it being a scam or not, because the fact is by just getting there, I had to go through a lot of hurdles. They had to verify it. They had to verify it's not a scam before they throw it on there. There's a ton of things that have to go on. And for the most part, it's that's part. You can basically say that those are safe, that they're not going to scam you tomorrow type of situation. Now, could something still happen? Sure, but the chances are much lower when you're dealing with that. Whereas with something like this, lower end coins, especially when you have no choice but to swap it, or going through certain exchanges, lower end exchanges, you might have to worry about things a little bit more. So you need to know how to research your stuff. Even if you're going with the higher end exchanges, you still need to learn how to research your stuff. But just like the regular stock market, a lot of things revolve around the actual pricing and not what they're actually doing with it. Because the fact is okay, if one coin does whatever or another coin does whatever, why is Doge, if that matter, why is Dogecoin actually going up, whereas other ones going down and whatnot? It's about psychological. In fact, a lot of this is a psychological chart, so note that. So when you get into lower end stuff like this is where it becomes very, very, very much needed that you actually understand what you're looking at, and you're able to actually identify a potential scam versus not. Note, even if you do go through all the things and try to find something that is not a scam, you can still get scammed fairly easily. A example of that is, I'm going to give 2 examples of that. So forestry is a rare one. It's known as the biggest scam of this year, in fact. But the fact is how they went about things is they were supposed to be a charity coin, and it was supposed to be where they would donate out to a plant and tree service, and they would plant trees. So great, whatever, I don't care about that. Is it going to make me money? That's all I cared about. Now, in doing research, what I found is they had documentation showing, hey, we've donated a significant amount of money to the tree organizations, and also we have backing from places like Wolf of Wall Street guy. And they scammed a lot of things, even down to the point of putting fake images up, fake stuff up, and act like they were someone that they aren't, and going down that path also. So it's very, very important to note that, because what ended up happening is it turns out that they ended up paying the Wolf of Wall Street guy a cameo, and they took off the stuff so you couldn't tell it's a cameo, and that way it looked like a flat out promotion. And they even put things on places like Reddit and other places to say, hey, this guy's promoting us and whatnot. They went out of their way, and basically they donated to some of the tree places once a very, very insignificant amount just to get the paperwork. And what they did is they photoshopped the rest and made it say whatever they want. So people thought, oh, they're donating $80,000. But no, they're just donating like $10 or something like that. So note that. Also note that they put fake stuff saying, hey, we're this person, and no, it's not. And that's very important into itself. And I could go down the line. And one happened in one day. is basically they shut down their website, they shut down their Twitter stuff, they shut down their Reddit page, they shut down everything, closed down everything they could. They what they did is they messed with the code itself, and they jacked up the fees for everybody else. They did a whitelist on some wallet, and they did it quick enough that they were sloppy about it. So some people were able to pull out whatever amount, but for the most part, they were only able to whitelist and they pulled out whatever amount with pretty much no fees at all. And after that point, it tanked the price, and it had a snowball effect, and it was obvious it was a rug pull. That was very, very important to note, is things like that can happen even if you do an extreme amount of research. Everything looks good, and everything looks good. And you can even have assholes that say, hey, how does someone believe that this was a real project, or blah, 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 blah. No, asshole. They actually did everything else, and they forged everything. Yeah. Luckily, I only lost like $3, so, who cares? But some people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's something significant into itself. So that's important to note. Now, there's other things like my kitty. When it's happening is a similar situation. Not so much the forgery and whatnot, but basically when it's happening is on their system. They said, oh, we're going to be audited and all the other stuff. And the when it's happening is some massive holders, they pulled out, freaked out the person who owned it. They pulled out, and it collapsed the whole thing, and whatever. Now the guy apologized, whatever, but still, and the fact is luckily one of their people, the staff members, that was blindsided about this, saw, hey, this is stupid and whatever, so they're trying to help us and swap it into another coin. But in the meantime, they've got access to the person's email, because again, it wasn't a flat out scam. It was just a founder that had that was freaked out by something, and just whatever, shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Well, the fact is it turns out they didn't even pay for the audit to start with. So while places can say, hey, we're going on our audit, or we're planning to go on audit, did they even pay for it? Who do they use? Is it first party audit? Is it third party audit? And stuff like that. Those are the things that you need to really ask to figure that out. And notes that with something like this, the reason why I'm showing Octans is because I actually do trust in this particular coin, and I find it actually quite interesting in some of the things and how open they are. But a lot of coins you're going to have to watch out, because they're not going to be as open. They're not, and even if they show you documents, hey, we're getting an audit, we paid for it and whatnot, there's no evidence, because again, with that one, they forged documents, flat out forged them. So, and unless if you know exactly what you're looking at, and they say, oh, we're getting audited by whatever and pay for it and whatnot, unless you're able to get them to verify it, the fact is nothing's proof. Again, we already have one that forged things to make it look like something was real. So yeah, that's something to note, is there is always a risk like that, and unfortunately there is not many protections for people when it comes to this. But again, sometimes you also get good people that is trying to help us out, like in there. But with the amount of stuff that I've been through, I can tell you that is a rarity into itself. And this is just one of the wallets I got. So note that. And what I would do, what I do personally, is, by the way, this is not a scam. This is because all my stuff is in LPs, which grants me abilities to do this, to see things and to see where I bought it and whatnot. The reason why this is important to note is you can shotgun approach it by throwing, again, like with the one I only threw $3 in, not really significant at all, but $3 in, $5 in, whatever. A lot of these I lost things in that I couldn't really verify. I didn't really trust things. The only one I lost anything significant was this, because it kind of looked whatever, but even at that, it wasn't really that much at all. So we're talking about only like a handful of dollars one way or another. And honestly, that's not a significant amount. And the way I view it is, okay, if it 100x and it stays 100x, then basically, or not 100x, but 10x, and stays above that, then I could throw more money into it. But otherwise, then it by that time, if nothing happens, then it's a dead coin to start with. Otherwise, it's a scam. It's one or the other that happens. Either it's pretty much maintaining the price and no use of doing anything, or it's a scam and it just goes to almost nothing. So yeah. So note that. And again, I just want to emphasize that so you know that all your research, you still got to worry about these things. So first thing first is what I do is type in the crypto thing into Google, and that tells me who's talking about it, information about it, all the other stuff, and go from there. Next thing is look at the sites, see what they have about it, videos, whatnot. Are they, straightforward? Is everything good? Everything look legitimate and whatnot? Also look at the actual road phase and whatnot. A lot of places they have, blind stuff that matters nothing. So note that, but also note that many of these projects, what they do is they use it to fund a actual business, to help kickstart a business off the ground and go from there. So note that also. But know that and just go through here and take a look at things and maybe you'll find something interesting. Again, this particular one I do believe into it a little bit more than others because I've seen where they actually they're very transparent in many areas. Some things a little bit cryptic, but for the most part, it's very transparent. They get out and get their community involved and all the other stuff. And I don't mean like pumping and stuff. I mean actually doing AMAs often and doing other things quite often and helping people out in that aspect, understanding things. So note that. Also note anything social media wise, and that will tell you information, so AMAs and whatnot. Now, next is I go and take a look at the holders, how many holders they have. This is something I do to see if, is it 2 holders, or if it's 100 holders, or if it's thousands of holders. So if it's below a certain amount, I don't even bother with it. So if it's below like 100, even 500, I don't even bother with it. But if it's above, 1,000 or whatever, then it's okay, in my opinion. But the important thing to note is the newer coins is how many of them are actually considered to be an actual holder. And that's important to note. Like in this case, it's going to say 61,000 are holders. So what I do is I download that and I sort the actual value out and I try to figure out how many of them have less than $5. If they have less than $5, I consider them as not a holder. Because the transfer fees and all the other stuff, it just makes it not worth it. Like transfer fees, when you look at the actual BNB cost, 50 cents or something like that. So someone has less than $1, that's not worth it. It's not that's not a holder, in my opinion. Realistically, if anyone has under $10, they're realistically, in my opinion, are not a holder. But still, come to that conclusion on your own. So after I figure all that out, to figure out how many legitimate holders they have and go from there, I take a look at charts and whatnot, historical information. Does it look like it's trending one way or another? Now it should be noted that pretty much all of them will have a major spike like that. That's across the board. So note that, just ignore that. And what I'm looking for is it like tanking? Is it going down in an overall fashion, or is it just maintaining itself and going from there? In this case, it's maintaining itself, which means that this is the foundation and it's probably going to grow. Now, is it going to go sky high? Who knows? But is it going to grow? It's very, very much likely. Following that, I take a look at the actual transactions, how many transactions they have, but specifically the dollar amounts. Is it, in this case, we're talking about a couple bucks. Is it $100 or thousands of bucks, and so on? In this case, it's not a lot, and it's also not a lot in a given period of time, particular timestamps. But still, it's also worth noting on that. And what I do from there, try to figure out why is it not trading a lot, is I take a look at things like, is it easy to find into places like PancakeSwap? Does it come up automatically like SafeMoon does, or do you have to type things in, find out the stuff, and go from there? And what you find more than not, it's not as easy to get anything, not so straightforward. But also, it's not as known. So at this point, I try to figure out, is it a hidden gem? So looking at social media, the Reddit pages and stuff like that, that tells me what's going on too. So again, the social media is a big thing, and that'll tell you more information into stuff. Following that, just take a look at the holdings into the LP, and one of the things I'll take a look at between here, the white paper, and all the other stuff is liquidity lock. So for example, if we take a look at this, see here, we got a burn address, liquidity lock. So if we take a look at this, I can take a look to see if it has a liquidity lock. Unfortunately, we gotta log in when we do that, and as you can see here, it is locked for that amount of time. I can do the calculations to figure out, but it is actual lock, and we can see here, and all that's good to go. So we know that they can't just pull it out and do whatever, which is a major thing that many people have to worry about because of rug pulls. So looking at all of that, we can see that that's protected, and they have a significant amount, a couple millions of dollars, into the liquidity pool. So that means that there should be enough there. Now it's important to note that how much is in version 1, version 2, and we can see that, okay, most of the stuff is in version 1. So over time, is that going to get fixed? How quickly is that going to get fixed? And we can go and take a look at that, and see that. As you can see here. So now note that reason why version 1, version 2, this is out of their control, out of any coin's control. That's PancakeSwap's deal. And maybe they'll get fixed soon because of the maybe they can do another lock for version 2. But anyways, as far as the other things I look at, is market cap and a few other things. So if I was to buy everything at this current price, how much would it be? And it'd be that. Obviously, jack up the price and whatever, fine. But we can see that it has a low market cap. So it doesn't take much for it to go all haywire. So that means that it has potential for volatility, and that might be good for us, especially if we're not going to spend too much money into it. So what that basically means is if it does pick up traction, then it has potential of skyrocketing. And I see there's more people buying, whatever. Following that, I take a look at things like their website itself, like the actual backend stuff, and we can see here, like doing a quick who is type of security, we can actually see, okay, it's protected by Cloudflare, kind of common stuff. But this is a big thing, is that they use something like, if they screw around, can it be tracked to whoever owns it? Yeah, in that case, yes. And we can take a look at some of the other things. But also note that it can have something like this where, it doesn't tell you much. It just says that their data is private. So, it's whatever. But for the most part, we can quickly figure out something if something happens. But anyways, the following that is figuring out the other information, social media, how people are talking about it specifically, how popular it is. Does it seem like it's taken off and whatnot? And then from there, it's just basically going, taking the steps of actually getting it and going from there. Now, with that one in mind, again, yes, something could still happen, so be prepared. So if you're not trusting it, I wouldn't put too much into it. But it's whatever. Then you can throw whatever amount in there and run with that. So again, what I do with most of my stuff, like even right here with Safe Mars, because I mean it didn't look like too much was into that one. What I did is like $30, and it's now at almost 1,000. It's like almost at $800 now. So you can make a significant amount with very little. So don't worry about that part of it. Losing $10, $30, whatever, you probably could make that back fairly easily. Whereas if you have $300 and just goes to nothing type of situation, then yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a difficult pill to swallow into itself. So note that. So I start with stuff like at a low end, $5, $3, stuff like that. But when I get up there, I might get into like $100, $200, and go from there. And you can make big bang from that. So with that, if you got any questions, anything else, then feel free to leave that down in the comment section. But leave a like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next video. Have a great day.